775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
Hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything that I feel would benefit you. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today National French Toast Day. After all that we ate over the weekend, we're going to go on with something a little bit sweet. Throw a little real maple syrup on top of that. Some people add a little bit of sugar, vanilla, cinnamon to the base. I better move right along because otherwise I will only get myself in another food coma. Ugh. Dow Jones Industrial Average, it is down a little bit today. We've been rallying a lot this year, so a little bit of a down day probably does not hurt us too much. We are looking at oil, those of you who follow the oil market, up $1.18 per barrel on our oil market. That translates $2.12.5 per gallon on a national average for gasoline, $267.1 here in the state of taxation. I'm starting the state of California. I shouldn't call this the state of taxation. People get mad at me when I say this is California, the state of taxation. But it really is. I mean, we just like to tax ourselves at every turn that we possibly can. $267.1 is the cost of, on average, a gallon of gasoline right here in California. And about 42.3 cents, I think is the last number I looked at, is what we are paying in taxes on a gallon of gas. 42.35 cents per gallon. That qualifies us to be number 4 in the country for the highest tax gasoline. Who is leading us? Well, New York, obviously, Pennsylvania, Hawaii, and then California. Those are the highest tax states in the union for gasoline. Just saying, moving right along. Unbelievable. So we did see that in the markets. Now we look to the 30-year or the 10-year treasuries. What are the 10-year treasuries doing? They've been down a little bit, about 3 basis points today. 2.326 is the yield on the 10-year treasury. Again, not something that we need to be worried about. The numbers there are still getting a little bit better, much better than the 1.7 yield that we had. What does that mean? Why is that happening? So we'll explain that a little bit to you. The issue here is money is moving. When money moves around, it has to come out of somewhere into something. So when people are concerned, they don't know where the future is going to be, they put money into the safest of investments. Traditionally, that would be the 30-year fixed rate, or the 10-year fixed rate loan in the United States, 2.325. Now, when they start seeing optimism, such as when the election ended, now they start saying, well, where can I put my money to get better than that 1.7 yield that we saw in the U.S. 10-year Treasury? Well, what ends up happening then is they take the money out of that 10-year Treasury, which means there's less demand. The price for that drops. Whenever the price drops, the yield goes up. So now we see that money came out, went into the stock market, and that's why we saw the stock market jump so much. There is still some serious confusion or concerns in Italy. Japan finally is getting a positive yield, even though it's not very much, but it's better than not getting your money back, which is the way it's been for the last decade or so. Germany is still got a yield. 0.2% is the return on your 10-year Bund, as they call it in Germany, usually between a 50 and 100 basis point, half and 1 full percentage point is usually the spread between the U.S. 10-year Treasury and the German 10-year Bund. So there is still quite a separation there. Got to watch out for that one, find out why that is, what's going on. It might have to do with the fact that people are just concerned with the Brexit, Britain exiting the European Union. Well, who's going to be there left to hold the bag over there? Well, it's probably going to be Germany. They're going to be the ones that are going to probably have to pay even more money to sustain the likes of Italy and Greece, the countries that are not carrying their weight, that continue to spend more money than they have. Just a thought right there. That is all translated into the highest mortgage market rate that we have seen in 15 years, 4.03. I'm sorry, since about a year, 4.03%. Last year, at this time, we were at 3.95%. So we're at 4.03%. Remember, you're paying 0.6% to get that rate. So don't think that if you call up and want a no point, no fee, no loan, that the 4.03 is what you're going to get. And again, this is for the best rated loans. So 4.03 if you pay for it a little bit of money. Just a thought right there. Now that also, remember here, take a look, because there are catches in the mortgage market. I'm looking right now at one of the big lenders. 4.375 is their fixed rate. Assuming you put that's a purchase loan only, not a refinance loan. They charge a little bit more money for the refinance loans. But assuming that you have a 25% down payment, 25%. Now, you don't need to have 25%. That's the big myth that people are still concerned with. They need a 25% down payment. No, you don't need it. But to get this price from this lender with these fees and these points, that's what you need, is a 25% down payment, 4.375. This is not even talking about the FHA loan, which is one of the better loans on the market for first-time buyers. Is it the best loan? No, there are better ones. But if you're a first-time buyer, that FHA loan, that's a good product for you to be considering. It's a very, very smart, much better to be looking at an FHA loan than paying somebody else's mortgage. So think about that part of it as well. So when you're looking at the FHA loan, this again, big lender here, they're talking about 4.25%, 4.25% with a minimal down payment on their FHA product. Now, be aware there's also down payment assistance. We're actually working or talking or chatting with a company right now that may be able to help our listeners get a 5% grant. 5% grant. That means no money to go into an FHA home loan. No money going into that FHA home loan. That might be even a better program for you to consider than going to rent. Think about that concept. How would you like to buy a new home? Obviously, you must qualify, but buy a new home with absolutely no money down. No money out of pocket. And now we know that that's available for our veterans. They've earned it. But this is a non-VA loan that you can go into with no money down. So we'll be coming up with all of the specifics on that one as we move forward. When we have the full plan in place, we will let you know. But feel free Anytime you want, give us a call at 800-306-1990. We'll get you on our mailing list. That way, when these issues come up, then these beautiful products come up, you're the first to know about them. We just sent out a mass email this morning giving our radio listeners some great information on what we're up to, where we're going to be, some super programs coming up. Think about this one. I know that we've got a big program coming up Thursday, Friday, Sunday this week. Next week, we've got other programs coming up next week as well. So make sure that you are taking a look at some of these different, the email, getting on our email list. We're going to chat about a lot of issues today. Going to cover a lot of loose ends. Over the weekend, we get lots of questions that come in. They're emailed to me. They're tweeted to us. They are private message to us, Facebook posts. We're on all these medium. So whenever you have these different questions, you send us a message. We'll reach out to the industry professionals, try and answer as many of those on air as we can. Remember, we are not giving legal advice. We're not giving tax counsel. We just chat about some of these issues with some of the best minds that we can find. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we got a lot on the docket today. 5 reasons to hire a real estate professional when buying and selling a home. 4 credit cards for the not-so-frequent Flier. Fannie Mae announced their new conforming loan limits for 2017. We'll chat about that. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. One of the real estate professionals will reach out to you to get you the true equity position of your real estate. Reasons to hire a real estate professional when buying and selling, whether you're buying or selling a home. It can be quite an adventurous journey. You need an experienced real estate professional to lead you to your ultimate goal. In this world of instant gratification and internet searches, many sellers think they can for sale by owner. Here are some reasons you need a professional in your corner. Now, these reasons really haven't changed, but maybe they've been strengthened due to the projections of higher mortgage interest rates and home prices as the market continues to pick up steam. Number one, what do you do with all this paperwork? Each state has different regulations regarding the contracts required for a successful sale. The regulations are constantly changing. Do you want to be out of compliance? A true real estate professional is an expert in their market and can guide you through the stacks of paperwork necessary to make your dream a reality. You have to look in some of these issues. There are items that are on the real estate contracts that many people believe they have to have, and it turns out they're really a guide, but they're not a requirement. Think about that concept, the difference between a guide and a requirement. For instance, under certain loan programs, a termite report or termite inspection is not requested. It might be something that's wise for you to have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is mandatory. Now, here's the other issue. Maybe you can have it in the contract, and it says, okay, they need a termite report. Wonderful. It doesn't say that it has to be clear. The contract says it needs a report. So if there's a report done, as long as you know as both buyer and seller agree to it, that means the report is done. Doesn't necessarily mean anything more than that. Doesn't mean that there is more going on. Doesn't mean they have to do the work. It just means that the report is complete. There's the issue right there. Think about that concept. So moving right along with this process. Number two, you found your dream house. Now what? According to the Orlando Regional Realtor Association, there are over 230 possible actions that need to take place during every successful real estate transaction. Over 230 possible actions. Did you catch that number? Don't you want someone who has been there before, someone who knows what these actions are, to make sure that you acquire your dream? I'm going to suggest to you, I chat with real estate professionals on a very, very regular basis. And I'm going to also suggest to you that when it comes to buying and selling real estate, I'm going to go and hire a professional myself. I don't want to try and navigate those contracts because there are so many items in there that it just doesn't make sense to me to try and do something when I'm dealing with a transaction that's this big, this complex, this important, this meaningful to my family. I don't want to try and take it for granted that I know exactly how to handle it, that I can do it all on my own, and that I'm going to get it done right. I want to make sure that I hire somebody. Now, if I'm the buyer, it's being paid for anyway. You're not going to get a discount equal to the real estate commission. In fact, if you go and try and buy a property from somebody on their own, more often than not, when somebody tries to sell their real estate on their own, they get less money net than if they do it with a real estate professional. Yet they have to do all that extra work. Does that make any sense to anybody? Why in the world would you want to try and do this on your own when you're going to get less money in the long run by doing it on your own? There's no logic to that unless you just like to do a lot of extra paperwork and leave yourself and your family open to scrutiny and open to litigation. Number 3, are you a good or great negotiator? So maybe you're not convinced that you need an agent to sell your home. However, after looking at the list of parties that you need to be prepared to negotiate with, you'll probably realize the value in selecting a real estate professional, from the buyer who wants the best deal possible, to the home inspection companies, to the appraiser. There are at least 11 different people that you will have to be knowledgeable with and answer to during the process. 11 different people. Your real estate... Now remember this, you're going to do this right now. The statistics say we're buying houses once every 9 years. Historically, it's once every 6 years. A real estate professional, the great ones, are doing once every 2 to 3, 4 weeks. Think about that. Yet, you think you know all these people that you're going to need to talk to, that you need to negotiate with? What is the home you're buying and selling really worth? It's important for your home to be priced correctly from the start to attract buyers and shorten the time that it's on the market. I heard somebody just the other day, they said to me, can't believe it, that house is only on the market for 3 days. And I made a comment to them, and they didn't understand at all because they don't listen to Ron Siegel radio on a regular basis, that if it was only on the market 3 days, that means they got the most possible money for that property. I said, well, how do you figure that? They probably sold it cheap. I said, no, there's no such thing as selling cheap when you use a great real estate agent and you have the house in the multiple listings. There's no such thing, because the multiple listing service gets it out there to the market. The market looks and says, we have to get a bidding war. All the people that are out there looking to buy right now seriously will be looking at that property. Those that really are serious have been pre-approved, pre-underwritten from a great lender that we've talked to you about. Then they're going to go and they're going to start bidding on the property. The seller then steps aside. That's the beauty of it. The seller steps aside. And when the seller steps aside and lets the buyers bid against one another, the price goes up. The terms go down. The contingencies drop. When all that happens, you get the most money possible without having to deal with the issue, without having to get in the middle of the fracas, because they're battling themselves. So that's the way it works. You need someone who is not emotionally connected to your home to give you the truth as to your home's value. According to the National Association of Realtors, the typical for sale by owner home sold for national number $185,000 to a compared with $245,000 amongst agent-assisted home sales. Think about that. That's almost 25%. Take off the commission, you're still doing great. Get the most out of your transaction by hiring a professional. Do you know what's really going on in the market? Again, like I just shared with you, the concept of that individual who said to me that house sold in 3 days, they must have given it away. No. There's so much information out there on the news and the internet about home sales, prices, and mortgage rates. How do you know what's going on specifically in your area? Who do you turn to in order to competitively price your home correctly at the beginning of the selling process? How do you know what to offer on your dream home without paying too much or offending the seller with a lowball offer? And I'm going to quote another radio guru. When getting help with money, whether it's insurance, real estate, or investments, you should always look for somebody with the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesman. Now that comes, I hear that from my friend Steve Harney, says that all the time. Deal with somebody with the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesman. Hiring an agent who has a finger on the pulse of the market will make your buying or selling experience an educated one. You need someone who's going to tell you the truth, not just what they think you want to hear. Think about this. In North Orange County, there's a real estate professional. She's probably been doing this, I don't want to get in trouble by saying a wrong number, but I'm guessing 30 to 40 years because her daughter's in the business with her. Every single Friday morning, maybe she misses once or twice, but like clockwork, you can count on her seeing her going on caravan with the open houses. Why? because she wants to have her hand on the pulse of what's going on in the market, even after doing this for decades. Never misses Caravan. It's on her calendar. So that if somebody calls and says, I want to see a house during that time period, she's busy. She's got a prior appointment. If somebody wants to list a house, if somebody wants to go out to lunch, she's busy during that time period because she wants to know what's going on in the market. That way, when somebody calls her and says, do you know the house on 123 Main Street? Oh, yeah, I was just in that one last week. I can tell you everything about it. Right off the top of her head. Because people make modifications in properties while they're there since they've been there. If you haven't been out there seeing it, if the agent that you're dealing with is not going out on these caravans in their neighborhood, they're probably not getting you the absolute best guidance you can get. If it's somebody that's been doing it for 30 or 40 years is still out looking and still out keeping up with the pulse of the market, don't you think you should also? Bottom line, you shouldn't replace the engine in your car without a trusted mechanic. Why would you make one of the most important financial decisions of your life without hiring a real estate professional? That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. One of the real estate professionals will reach out to you. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Fannie Mae conforming loan limits for 2017 have been announced. We will share the results with you on that. We'll also talk to you about credit cards for the not-so-frequent Flier, and there are a lot of different programs out there right now. Whoa.
10+%.
Hey, guys, we're not ready for them. Every once in a while, live radio, you can tell how you get some things that go on in the background that you're not supposed to be hearing. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And remember, if you miss any part of our broadcast, mbelinks.com/iTunes. mbelinks.com/iTunes. You will get the most current shows. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. New Fannie Mae conforming loan limits. They have been announced. These go into effect for 2017. These are not this year, so you have to wait until January 1 to get these different lending limits. They're going to be the first time they've been increased in quite a while, so that's going to be a help the housing market. Looking here, 424,100 is going to be the base number throughout the country, 424,100. High-cost area limits are established for each county, are published on Fannie Mae's website and on the FHFA's website. Maximums for 2017, 636,150 is going to be the new number. 636,150, up from 624,000. Or 625.5 is where it had been. So remember, 636,150. You do have to remember that these numbers that doesn't mean everybody. If you think your property or your area is high priced, that's not quite how it works. But you do have to look and see where your community comes in. And everyone's going to be a little bit different. They basically go based on medians and what the values are in each different area. So we'll have those numbers for every county. But you can just figure that if you were at 625, you're going to be going up to that 636 for the new numbers, and most everybody's going to be looking at that same idea of getting that. Especially Riverside, San Bernardino, 424,100 starting the beginning of 2017. Just a great piece of information for you. Let's take a look at some of the other news items that came in. I didn't even mention this one. You got to talk about it. It's being that we are a sport, are on sports stations. Just baffles me that we've got the loser Kaepernick still in the news. How the heck does that character stay? I guess it's because he's so stupid. He's such a loser that he stays relevant, and we continue to report on some of his antics. But I thought it was great that a Cuban-American football player is the one that knocked him out, so to speak. He didn't get into the end zone. No, I'm not saying about hurting the man, but I wouldn't go there. So he's such an idiot. That part's not in question. The issue is he got booed roundly in Miami at their game over the weekend. I don't think the team has won since he's been put in as their quarterback. That's to me, I'm glad to see it. I hope that they don't win a game. Maybe they'll fire him. Maybe they'll just dump him on the sidelines. Maybe he's such a big fan of Fidel Castro. Maybe they'll send him to meet Castro. That would be, or let him stay in Cuba over there. Just a thought, but I shouldn't be too negative on the guy. But I know his team, they're losing. They haven't won since they've installed him as their starting quarterback. Maybe they'll catch a clue that and I hope their sales drop. I've been a big proponent of that idea. I'm not real big on the idea of boycotts and things like that. If I was a big boycott individual, I would say, something organized boycotts. But they're 1 in 10. You got to love it. I think it's if I'm not mistaken, it is the second worst record in all of football. You've got the Cleveland Browns at 0-12, so The San Francisco 49ers, they're irrelevant, but I wouldn't want to give them the Mr. Irrelevant award. That's something that is a positive award. But Kaepernick got booed. The question is in Miami that came up over the weekend was, would people boo Kaepernick more or O.J. Simpson more? I'm going to suggest Kaepernick would probably win that battle, and rightly so. That most hated man in all of football, most despised individual in all of football. Although there were some people that are still wearing his jersey. I don't know why. I wonder about the parents of those people that are wearing Kaepernick jerseys, unless they're the ones out, it's the parent going out and doing it, and then you start saying, okay, that's what our future looks like, is people that are involved in this character. Unbelievable individual. It's just a shame that we still see people like that in our society. Kaepernick, just a real jerk. Unbelievable. 5 apps that automate your money and make you richer. I should have mentioned this one's a little bit earlier. Digit is kind of a digital change jar for money savings, free. And we talked to our friends over at Sports One Marketing. They've got Coin Up that they're doing with this type of a program. Free app connects with a user's checking account and analyzes spending habits, taking out a small amount of money, usually $5 to $50 every few days. When its algorithms determine it can be spared, the money is then moved to an FDIC-insured Digit savings account and can be transferred at any time to a checking account within 1 business day. Just a little bit of money savings right there. The app differs from popular saving and budget services like Mint in that it doesn't run on a homepage with an overview of spending habits, instead relying on an SMS-based chatbot that users can text directly for information, including recent activity like checking balance, recent transactions, and how much money has been saved. There is a Digit dashboard available. I'm not going to recommend or deny that one. Can robo-advisors manage your money and emotions? Is investing giving in your emotions can cut I don't even know how to say this one. Capital, QAPITAL. Similar to Digit, Capital puts small chunks of change into a savings account for users. I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of anybody going into my account, taking money out, and moving it somewhere else. I know you have to give them the right to do it, but I'm not sure that I like that idea. There are a lot of things you got to worry about, especially on Cyber Monday, that we're going to be chatting about, giving you ideas on how to behave, be careful with your money. Just a thought right there. I'm not a big fan of people going and moving your money around for you. So be real careful of all those things where you give access to your funds. If it's not an FDIC insured company, if it's not something that's a big name that you really know, I'd be real careful of that. Again, as I mentioned, safe shopping. Cyber Monday, that is today. So we want to give you some safe shopping ideas. Create a unique usernames and passwords. I'm going to suggest, just on a simple basis, if you're planning on going and doing a lot of shopping today, my recommendation is you go over to Google, create a separate Gmail account that you're only going to use for your shopping purposes. That way you know when you start getting all the junk mail later on, you know exactly when it happened, where it happened. Create a unique usernames and passwords when you go into all of these different online services. I'm going to also recommend, take a look at a password manager. LastPass. LastPass is the one that I prefer. It's free, and it maintains all of your different passwords. You keep track of one password, one ultra-secure password. Don't give it to anybody ever for any reason. Then you create these 12-digit passwords when you go into, or up to a 12-digit password. Uppercase, lowercase, numerals, special characters. Create all of that going in, and it takes care of remembering those for you. Does a lot better job of keeping the hackers out. Be sure to monitor your bank account. Very important, especially when you're going and doing any shopping online. Make sure you're watching your bank account on a regular basis. Beware of links. take a look at the URLs. Be careful of the hyperlink. If you get a hyperlink, if you put your cursor over something that looks like it's a link to take you somewhere, take a look in the lower left corner of your browser. It's generally going to tell you where it's taking you. Or in some browsers, it might even do a pop-up that tells you. If you are looking at a link and you think that you're going to Walmart, and it doesn't say walmart.com, be very, very careful. If you think that you're going, and a lot of times it'll give you on Ron Siegel Radio, we use a shortener. So frequently you're going to see from us, it's going to go mbelinks.com/something. That's so it can give you a hyperlink that we know that we've already looked at, and we can also, if there's a problem with it, we can remove it real quick. So mbelinks.com/, for instance, if you want to get our gift bag, it's mbelinks.com/RSR gift bag. Real simple. That way, if that site ever got corrupted, we could change it in a heartbeat, and those people, we wouldn't have to worry about anybody that's out there that has the mbelinks.com address having any sort of problem. So be careful of those links that you go to. Don't shop on public Wi-Fi. Don't go over to Starbucks. Don't go over to Panera. Don't shop on public Wi-Fi. You don't know who might be monitoring those. I know years ago when I traveled a lot, frequently I'd go into a hotel and I'd get these viruses because you just don't know who's also on those Wi-Fis at the same time as you are. Nearly every email client now allows users to opt for two-step authentication, which works as a normal login with a username and password, but requires a verification code sent through a separate device like a phone for access. This is a great method of monitoring to make sure that you're getting into the location that you want to get into and you're not getting hacked. So be careful of these different services that you think are doing a benefit. I noticed that a huge percentage of the cyber shopping over the weekend was done through smart devices, phones and tablets, not on the computers. So it's just a whole new world of where we're heading these days. Think about those issues as well. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, 4 credit cards for the not so frequent flyer. We're going to talk about those. Everyone talks about these frequent flyer miles. But if you don't fly a lot, do the credit cards mean anything to you? We're going to chat about that when we come back. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Didn't miss any part of our broadcast? Stay tuned. Or actually, if you missed part of our broadcast, go to Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
In the middle of a street, a house.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
Your Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. You just need to reach out to them, CreditSanitizer.com. I think it's $87 a month, something along those lines. And you get a whole suite of products, including LifeLock. I just had a friend of mine yesterday telling me that he just got hooked up on LifeLock. It's actually been on the radio program a few times. Great information there. Credit cards for the not-so-frequent flyer. Picking out the perfect rewards credit card is an important decision. You want to make sure the card you choose is going to get use and provide value. Someone that doesn't do very much traveling probably won't have a lot of use for a credit card that rewards airline miles or hotel points. This sounds like you, then you're likely going to be looking for a card that will earn cash back, or one of the cards that allows you to do other things with the points. I'm not a big fan of the airline cards. Yes, I did have one many years ago when they were first out on the market, but they're very, very limiting. The idea is if you say you use an American Airlines card, which is the one that I had many years ago, you're limited to points on American Airlines, and they make these points very difficult for you to redeem, so you end up having a bunch of points on an airline that sets lots of rules and lots of blackout dates, whereas if you go with something like a Capital One card, American Express card, that offers some of the points, they go out on the open market and purchase the redemption items, so the gift items. So they're a little bit better. So here's a couple others you might want to consider. Discover It, the cash back match. Like earning cash back and don't mind doing a little work, then the Discover It cash back credit card may be a great match for you. You earn 5% cash back on up to $1,500 within rotating categories each quarter. For example, through the end of 2016, the 5% bonus categories are Amazon.com, department stores, and Sam's Club. There's one catch to earning this bonus. You need to opt in each quarter. For some, this might be a deal breaker, but for others, it's worth the rewards. All other purchases that you make will receive 1% cash back. So that one's not bad. Chase Freedom Unlimited. If earning cash back is your preference, but keeping track of bonus categories isn't something you want to do, then you might want to look into the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. Earn an unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase that you make. Cash back earnings will never expire as long as your account stays open and active. When you sign up for the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, you receive a $150 sign-up bonus after spending $500 within the first 3 months. You can also add an authorized user to your account and earn an additional $25 after they make a purchase during the same 3-month period. If you have a large purchase coming up or need to transfer a balance, then you'll like the 0% introductory easy for me to say, annual percentage rate for 15 months on purchases and balance transfers. Once that introductory period is ended, the rate will shift to a variable 14.25% to 23.25%, depending upon your credit worthiness. No annual fee, but you'll have a 5% balance transfer fee and a 3% foreign transaction fee. Blue Cash Preferred Card from American Express. Most of the top credit cards have a feature or two that will really make them stand out from the rest. For the Blue Cash Preferred Card from American Express, it's the ability to earn cash back on purchases made on Amazon.com and at grocery stores. When you apply and are approved for the card before January 11, 2017, you'll receive 10% cash back on purchase made on Amazon.com for the first 6 months up to $200. You'll also receive 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets on up to $6,000 each year. Purchases made at U.S. gas stations and select department stores earn 3% cash back, and everything else 1%. When you sign up for the Blue Cash Preferred Card, you receive a $150 bonus after spending $1,000 in the first 3 months. All cash back you earn can be redeemed at any time for a statement credit. Number 4 is the Bank of America Cash Rewards Credit Card. Bank of America customers Particularly may want to look into the Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards credit card. Offers 3% cash back on gas, 2% cash back on grocery store and clubs. Some pretty good information right there on some different cards for you to think about. Not saying that you're going to qualify for them, but if you talk to our friends over at creditsanitizer.com, you can get on the road to qualification if you don't already qualify. Again, that the Your Credit Matters segment is brought to you every day by creditsanitizer.com. Check that button up there, top left. I think it's $87, something along those lines. And you can get that Credit Sanitizer. Help you clean up your credit, get the errors off your report, get you LifeLock, and a few other items there as well. A couple credit cards you might want to know about. Maybe you don't. Invitation-only credit cards. The Dubai First Royal MasterCard. The Dubai First Royal MasterCard is a black card so ritzy it has diamond and gold details embedded on the face of the card by invitation only for a very limited group of upper echelons of the social and business community. The American Express Centurion Card. It's an invite card only referenced in rap songs and TV shows. Is known as one of the most exclusive black cards on the market, but information on the features that come with this anodized titanium card is scarce. Reported the card will get you access to Amex's Centurion lounges at airports, as well as rumored free upgrades at hotel chains, airline credits, and other special services. The Visa Infinite Eurasian Diamond Card and MasterCard's Luxury Card, all priceless programs. Useless trivia right there on those invitation-only cards. But it's not useless for you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.